there, IELTS warriors. Tell me, have you ever looked at an IELTS essay question about the environment and thought, oh no, what do I even say beyond pollution and global warming? Well, you're not alone. Most candidates use the same 5 basic words: pollution, problem, solution, and environment. But guess what? Examiners read those 100 times a day. If you really want to stand out and score band 8 or 9, you need smart vocabulary, words that show range, precision, and understanding of the topic. So, today, we're diving into the world of environment vocabulary, high-scoring words, advanced synonyms, and natural collocations that will make your essays and speaking answers sound powerful and professional. Welcome to IELTS Vocabulary Podcast with Mia, your weekly guide to mastering IELTS language one topic at a time. I'm Mia, and in this episode, I'll help you upgrade your environmental vocabulary so that your IELTS Writing Task 2 essays and Speaking Part 2 answers shine with confidence. We'll go step by step, exploring essential words, their meanings, synonyms, and real IELTS-style examples. No boring definitions, just clear explanations and phrases that you can actually use in your exam. So, grab your notebook or open your notes app, because by the end of this episode, you'll have a full set of Band 9 environment vocabulary ready to use. All right, let's begin our lesson. Bibliography. Vocabulary lesson begins. Let's start with one of the most powerful and flexible words in this topic. 1. Sustainable, meaning able to continue over time without harming the environment or depleting resources. Synonyms: eco-friendly, renewable, green, environmentally responsible. Example: Writing Task 2. Governments should invest in sustainable energy sources such as wind and solar power. Speaking example: I try to live a more sustainable lifestyle by reducing plastic waste and recycling regularly. Usage tip: in IELTS essays, sustainable development and sustainable solutions are excellent collocations. Avoid saying environment-friendly, instead say environmentally sustainable or eco-friendly. 2. Deplete, meaning to use up or reduce the amount of something, especially natural resources. Synonyms: exhaust, drain, consume, use up. Example: Writing Task 2. The overuse of fossil fuels has depleted the Earth's natural resources. Speaking example: many countries are depleting their forests for agricultural expansion. Usage tip: perfect verb for describing the negative human impact on nature. Pair it with resources, energy, or forest reserves. 3. Biodiversity, meaning the variety of plant and animal life in a particular environment. Synonyms: variety of species, ecosystem diversity, biological richness. Example: Writing Task 2. Deforestation leads to the loss of biodiversity and disrupts natural ecosystems. Speaking example: my country has rich biodiversity, from tropical forests to coral reefs. Usage tip: common IELTS collocations: loss of biodiversity, protect biodiversity, maintain biodiversity. 4. Deforestation, meaning the cutting down of large areas of forest for human use. Synonyms: tree clearance, logging, forest destruction. Example: Writing Task 2. Deforestation contributes significantly to climate change and soil erosion. Speaking example: illegal logging has caused massive deforestation in many Asian countries. Usage tip: pair with cause, result in, or lead to. For a Band 9 essay, replace cutting trees with deforestation. 5. Renewable energy, meaning energy that comes from natural sources and can be replenished. Synonyms: green energy, sustainable energy, clean power. Example: Writing Task 2. The government should prioritize renewable energy sources like wind, solar, and hydropower. Speaking example: renewable energy is becoming more affordable and efficient each year. Usage tip: strong collocations: invest in renewable energy, shift to renewable energy, promote renewable energy. We've just covered our first 5 powerful terms. But don't stop there. The environment topic is full of rich, descriptive vocabulary. Let's continue expanding your word bank even further. 6. Carbon footprint. Meaning, the total amount of greenhouse gases emitted by a person, organization, or product. Synonyms: CO2 emissions, environmental impact, ecological footprint. Example, writing task 2. Individuals can reduce their carbon footprint by using public transport or cycling. Speaking example, I try to lower my carbon footprint by avoiding single-use plastics. Usage tip: a perfect expression for IELTS speaking part 3 when asked about personal responsibility for the environment. Common collocations: reduce your carbon footprint, calculate your carbon footprint. 7. Fossil fuels. Meaning, natural fuels like coal, oil, and gas formed over millions of years. Synonyms: non-renewable energy sources, carbon-based fuels. Example, writing task 2. Relying heavily on fossil fuels has accelerated global warming. Speaking example, many countries still depend on fossil fuels for their energy needs. Usage tip: use it when discussing causes of pollution, climate change, or energy policies. Band 9 phrase: phase out fossil fuels. 8. Greenhouse gases. Meaning, gases that trap heat in the atmosphere, contributing to global warming. Synonyms: emissions, carbon dioxide, methane. Example, writing task 2. Factories release large amounts of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. Speaking example, cars are a major source of greenhouse gas emissions. Usage tip: common IELTS phrase, emit greenhouse gases. Avoid saying bad gases, use the proper academic phrase. 9. Climate change. Meaning, long-term alteration of temperature and weather patterns. Synonyms: global warming, environmental change, planetary warming. Example, writing task 2. Climate change poses a serious threat to food security. Speaking example, we can already see the effects of climate change in rising sea levels. Usage tip: pair with verbs like combat, address, tackle, or mitigate. 10. Drought. Meaning, a long period with little or no rainfall. Synonyms: dry spell, lack of rain, water shortage. Example, writing task 2. Drought has devastated agricultural areas in many developing countries. Speaking example, in my country, farmers often struggle during drought seasons. Usage tip: common collocations: severe drought, prolonged drought, suffer from drought. 11. Ecosystem. Meaning, a system formed by the interaction of living organisms and their environment. Synonyms: natural habitat, ecological system, environment. Example, writing task 2. Pollution disrupts the balance of the ecosystem. Speaking example, the coral reef is a fragile ecosystem that needs protection. Usage tip: collocations: delicate ecosystem, marine ecosystem, protect ecosystems. 12. Conservation. Meaning, the protection and preservation of the environment and wildlife. Synonyms: preservation, protection, maintenance. Example, writing task 2. Wildlife conservation programs are vital for endangered species. Speaking example, there should be more awareness about forest conservation. Usage tip: excellent for both writing and speaking. Combine with efforts, projects, or laws. 10. Emissions. Meaning, the act of releasing gas, smoke, or pollutants into the air. Synonyms: discharge, output, release. Example, writing task 2. Stricter laws are required to limit vehicle emissions. Speaking example, factories produce a lot of harmful emissions. Usage tip: perfect pairings: reduce emissions,
cut emissions, control emissions. 15. Renewable resources, meaning natural resources that can be replenished naturally over time. Synonyms: sustainable materials, regenerative sources. Example, writing task 2. The world should focus on renewable resources like wind and solar energy. Speaking example, countries are investing heavily in renewable resources to reduce dependence on oil. Usage tip: do not confuse with non-renewable, that's fossil fuels. 16. Global warming, meaning the gradual increase in Earth's temperature due to greenhouse gases. Synonyms: climate heating, planetary warming. Example, writing task 2. Global warming has led to melting ice caps and rising sea levels. Speaking example, people often underestimate the impact of global warming. Usage tip: collocations: cause global warming, contribute to global warming, the effects of global warming. 17. Contamination, meaning the presence of harmful substances in the environment. Synonyms: pollution, impurity, tainting. Example, writing task 2. Water contamination poses a serious risk to human health. Speaking example, industrial waste has caused contamination of rivers in many areas. Usage tip: use with soil, water, or air. Avoid saying dirty water, use water contamination. 18. Habitat destruction, meaning the process by which natural habitats are damaged or destroyed. Synonyms: habitat loss, environmental damage, ecological destruction. Example, writing task 2. Urbanization often results in habitat destruction. Speaking example, many species are endangered due to habitat destruction. Usage tip: great for task 2 essays on urban development or wildlife protection. 19. Urbanization, meaning the process by which towns and cities grow and rural areas become urban. Synonyms: city growth, urban expansion, metropolitan development. Example, writing task 2. Rapid urbanization increases pollution and traffic congestion. Speaking example, my city has changed a lot due to urbanization. Usage tip: collocations: rapid urbanization, effects of urbanization, uncontrolled urbanization. 20. Eco-friendly, meaning not harmful to the environment. Synonyms: green, sustainable, environmentally friendly. Example, writing task 2. Consumers are becoming more interested in eco-friendly products. Speaking example, I prefer using eco-friendly packaging for my small business. Usage tip: common collocations: eco-friendly lifestyle, eco-friendly technology, eco-friendly habits. B. Short pause, friendly tone. Let's take a breath. We've covered 20 strong environment-related words and expressions that can make your essay or speaking answer sound naturally advanced. But we're not done yet. Let's move into even more Band 9 level expressions, the kind that make an examiner raise their eyebrows and think, wow, this candidate really knows how to use vocabulary precisely. 21. Degradation, meaning the process of something becoming worse or weaker, especially the environment. Synonyms: deterioration, decline, erosion. Example, writing task 2. Environmental degradation is a major consequence of industrialization. Speaking example, many developing nations face serious land degradation due to overfarming. Usage tip: common collocations: environmental degradation, soil degradation, coastal degradation. 22. Afforestation, meaning planting trees in an area where there weren't none before. Synonyms: reforestation, slightly different, forest creation, tree planting. Example, writing task 2. Governments should support afforestation projects to combat climate change. Speaking example, some organizations promote afforestation to increase screen cover. Usage tip: contrast it with deforestation for balanced IELTS arguments. 23. Waste management, meaning the process of collecting, treating, and disposing of waste materials. Synonyms: garbage control, waste disposal, recycling system. Example, writing task 2. Effective waste management can reduce pollution in urban areas. Speaking example, my city needs a better waste management system. Usage tip: collocations: improve waste management policies, waste management facilities. 24. Emission reduction, meaning cutting down the amount of harmful gases released into the atmosphere. Synonyms: pollution control, carbon reduction. Example, writing task 2. Emission reduction targets are crucial for slowing down climate change. Speaking example, car companies are working on emission reduction technologies. Usage tip, often used in discussions about international agreements like the Paris Accord. 25. Natural disaster, a catastrophic event caused by nature. Synonyms: catastrophe, calamity, environmental event. Example, writing task 2. Developing countries often lack resources to deal with natural disasters. Speaking example, we experience frequent natural disasters like floods and cyclones. Usage tip, common collocations, devastating natural disaster, prepare for natural disasters. B. Short pause, friendly tone. Let's take a breath. We've covered 20 strong environment-related words and expressions that can make your essay or speaking answer sound naturally advanced. But we're not done yet. Let's move into even more Band 9 level expressions, the kind that make an examiner raise their eyebrows and think, wow, this candidate really knows how to use vocabulary precisely. 21. Degradation, meaning the process of something becoming worse or weaker, especially the environment. Synonyms: deterioration, decline, erosion. Example, writing task 2. Environmental degradation is a major consequence of industrialization. Speaking example, many developing nations face serious land degradation due to overfarming. Usage tip, common collocations, environmental degradation, soil degradation, coastal degradation. 22. Afforestation, meaning planting trees in an area where there weren't none before. Synonyms: reforestation, slightly different, forest creation, tree planting. Example, writing task 2. Governments should support afforestation projects to combat climate change. Speaking example, some organizations promote afforestation to increase green cover. Usage tip, contrast it with
deforestation for balanced IELTS arguments. 23. Waste management, meaning the process of collecting, treating, and disposing of waste materials. Synonyms: garbage control, waste disposal, recycling system. Example, writing task 2. Effective waste management can reduce pollution in urban areas. Speaking example, my city needs a better waste management system. Usage tip, collocations, improve waste management policies, waste management facilities. 24. Emission reduction, meaning cutting down the amount of harmful gases released into the atmosphere. Synonyms: pollution control, carbon reduction. Example, writing task 2. Emission reduction targets are crucial for slowing down climate change. Speaking example, car companies are working on emission reduction technologies. Usage tip, often used in discussions about international agreements like the Paris Accord. 25. Natural disaster, meaning a catastrophic event caused by nature. Synonyms: catastrophe, calamity, environmental event. Example, writing task 2. Developing countries often lack resources to deal with natural disasters. Speaking example, we experience frequent natural disasters like floods and cyclones. Usage tip, common collocations, devastating natural disaster, prepare for natural disasters. All right, welcome back. You've learned a bunch of strong vocabulary words in this episode. Now it's time to take your IELTS writing and speaking to the next level with collocations and idiomatic expressions. Remember, using these naturally makes your English sound fluent and professional. Let's dive straight in. Collocations for environment topics. First, let's talk about collocations, words that naturally go together. They make your language sound smooth, just like native speakers. Here are some of the most powerful Band 9 collocations for environment-related questions. Reduce carbon footprint, meaning to lower the amount of carbon dioxide you produce. Example, people can reduce their carbon footprint by using public transport instead of private cars. Combat climate change, meaning to take action against global warming. Example, governments must take serious measures to combat climate change and protect the planet. Preserve natural habitats, meaning to protect the homes of animals and plants. Example, preserving natural habitats is essential for maintaining biodiversity. Renewable energy sources, meaning forms of energy that can be replenished naturally, such as wind or solar power. Example, many countries are investing heavily in renewable energy sources to reduce their dependence on fossil fuels. Environmental degradation, meaning the decline in the quality of the environment due to pollution, deforestation, or other human activities. Example, rapid industrialization often leads to severe environmental degradation. Sustainable development, meaning development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the future. Example, sustainable development ensures that we balance economic growth with environmental protection.